Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Gemma and today we're going to be doing my November TBR. So you may have seen my non-fiction November TBR and my Historathon TBR and being like, Gemma, another one? But this is my standard TBR where I talk about the books that I will want to read from my sort of new way of doing my TBR, my 4 key buckets, and any buddy reads, read-alongs that weren't previously mentioned. So before we get into that, how did I do on last month's TBR? So I had two TBRs last month, Victober and my standard TBR. And for Victober, there were 5 prompts, the first of which was to read a book with disability rep, and I chose Olive by Dinah Craik. Unfortunately, I did not get to that one. Then the next prompt was to read a builder's roman, and I picked the mill on the Floss, and I have very nearly finished that. So that should be finished by the end of October. It might just sneak over into November, but it will be finished. Then the next one was to read a short story, and I was going to read this collection, Ghostly Tales, illustrated by Bill Bragg by a variety of Victorian authors, and I have read 4 out of the 7, so you can't see that very well, but I'm like halfway through. So it's getting there. I did say that I was going to do a video on the stories that are in here, what I thought of them, where I would rank them. That is still coming. Clearly it's not going to come in November, October, but hopefully it will come in November. So yeah, just 3 more of those left to go. So I count that as wings. I read 4 short stories. The next prompt was to read an adaptation, and I read Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. And then the final prompt was to read some Victorian poetry, and I read some Rossetti poetry with the lovely Dia over at Novel Idea. I absolutely love Dia. She's so lovely. I will link her channel below. Please go and support her. She is a smaller booktuber, newer to the platform, but she's just delightful. She reads a whole variety of stuff, and similar to me, she's not a massive poetry buff. So it's really nice to just talk to someone who's of a similar poetic level as me. And we read Echo, A Birthday, Song, and An End. And we had a lovely time. So yeah, I would still not say I was a poetry person, but it was definitely fun to talk about them with Dia. So that means I managed 4 out of 5 of the Victober prompts, which I am quite pleased with. And then for my standard TBR, so we changed this round and I have 4 categories. So the first category was a non-UK, non-US author, and I chose Violeta by Isabel Allende, who is a Chilean author, and I did read that. And then for a new release, I chose Stoneblind, which I'm going to put a picture up of, even though I own it, because I've left it downstairs. It's quite late at night now, and I really haven't got the energy to go and get it. So, but I have started this. I am now doing a buddy read of this with Jack from Spread Bookjoy, and we're having a very chilled, laid-back approach to it. So it is currently being read, but I haven't finished it yet. That still counts as a win. Then for a goal book, I chose a book that was on Kindle Unlimited, and I chose Simple Passion by Annie Ernaux, and I have read that, and quite serendipitous that I picked that randomly this month, and then she won a Nobel laureate, so fabulous. And then the final category was to read a book in a series. I chose Heartstopper Volume 4, and I have read this. So if you're paying attention, that means I read all 4 of my sort of core TBR books. No punishment. So I will not be purchasing a book this month for the primary school. Don't worry, they've had plenty of money out of me. I have got the one from last month here that I haven't taken in yet, The Girl Who Stole an Elephant, and as always I purchased this and then a different book took over in the poll, but it is what it is. So this one by Nizrana Farook is what will be going to the school, and there will be no poll this month because I completed my TBR. Yay! So moving on to this month, which is unlikely to go as well given that I'm doing non-fiction November and Historathon. However, we will give it a good go. So for the buckets, for the non-UK, non-US author, I am going to read Notes from the Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I have been meaning to get into Russian literature for a while and it kind of really intimidates me, so I thought I'll pick this one up. It's super short, it's less than 150 pages, so there's no excuses. How often do I say that? I don't know a huge amount about this one, about a guy in a cellar in St. Petersburg, and I think it's sort of understanding like the monstrosity of humanity, maybe. I might be completely wrong, but I am going to give it a go and see what I think. Then for a new release, I am going to read one of the books that I discussed in my upcoming translated books video that came out a little while ago. I'll link it below if you missed it. But one of the books on there was Idle Burning by Rin Usami, translated by Asa Yaneda, and I was very kindly gifted an ARC of this on NetGalley, and so I'd very much like to get to that one. And this is the one about a young girl who becomes obsessed with a member of a pop band, I think. So yeah, looking forward to that. And I don't know, like obsession and stuff, it's wintry vibes to me. I don't know, it is to me. Then for a goal book, we have The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. So this was one of the books that I chose from the big scratch poster, so I very much want to get to it, and it's also on my Historathon TBR, so I'm doubling up here because this one I really want to get to. It is probably going to be the first book that I pick up in the month, so it's going to get read. And this one is about a little boy who goes to like a kite flying contest with his friend, and then I think there's like a Russian invasion. Heartbreak and tears and emotional destruction is all I needed to know to pick this up. And when I talked about this for the Historathon TBR, everyone was like, what, you haven't read that yet? That's like such a you bit, Gemma. And I was like, yes, I know, I'm going to read it this month. And then for a book in a series, I'm going to be reading A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. I'm going to be reading this with a lovely group of people, Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot, Fraser from Fraser Simon's Springboard Thought, and possibly Sarah from Freshly Read Books, though I'm not sure if she's read the first one or not yet, because she was gallivanting in Southeast Asia, I believe, when we read the first one. So yeah, to be fair, I think I'd rather be doing that, but that is by the by. So I will be reading that next month, and I'm so excited to get back to Becky Chambers because she is absolutely now one of my favourite authors of all time. So the other thing I did say I was going to do for my TBR starting this month, and I'm now partially regretting, is I said I would choose a book from the mug of Intimidating Reads, and I would read this book over 2 months. So this will be the book for November and December. So let's just do that and get that out of the way. So okay, let's see what we get. Oh, one fell out, but we're going to go for this one. So, see if we can get The Pillars of the Earth for the 4,000th time and not read it. No, I am going to read it because I've got 2 months. Aha! The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Very excited for this because I think this will be a very me book. This is a standalone fantasy. It is chunky. I think it's like 900 pages. I don't really know much about it apart from it's high fantasy, but I was literally saying to Jack the other day that I have got such a craving for high fantasy at the moment. I've read so much literary fiction and sort of contemporary fiction and historical fiction lately, and I really just want some like meaty fantasy. And this absolutely meets that goal. So yeah, I will be reading that over November and December. I do also have some buddy reads, of course. Actually, only one buddy read apart from the Becky Chambers, and that is Still Life by Sarah Winman, which I'm going to be reading with the lovely Emily from Novell Novels. And this is set in World War II, Italy. 2 people meet, a soldier and an art historian, I think, and it's about their relationship and how that affects sort of the decades to come, I think, broadly. But it has had some mixed reviews, so we'll see which side of the fence I sit on, but I am really excited for it, and it has a very pretty cover. So yeah, so those are the 2 buddy reads, and then I am also still doing the Tudoralong. So Anna of Cleves is happening in November and December. If you would like to join, just let me know. We have a Voxer group. We will be doing a live at the end of December. The live for Jane Seymour is happening Saturday the 4th. Is it the 4th? Whatever the nearest Saturday to the 4th is, that is when it's happening at 2 o'clock UK time. So if you want to join for that, feel free. That will be on my channel. And very exciting, The first book for the FOMO Book Club kicks off in November. Again, this is over 2 months, November and December, and we are reading I Capture the Castle by Jodie Smith. We have a Discord for this. The invite is always in the description box of all of my videos, so if you want to join, just jump on in. And I think this is a coming of age story. I don't really know too much about it, but it's been on my list for a long, long time, and we are very excited to get to it. And there will be a live for this at the end of December on Alice's channel, Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, because this is a collaboration. The FOMO Book Club is a collaboration between myself, Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, and Jack from Spread Book Joy. So the three of us just picked a load of books that we had FOMO about, and those are what we are reading. If you want to see the upcoming books on the book club, they are all in the announcement video, which I will link here, and I think that is plenty for me to be getting on with. So I'll see you all very soon with another one. Bye guys!